Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is 9 o'clock on Friday, and you are tuned in to our weekly episode of Friday Friends. I am Deb Burton, Executive Director of RI Elder Info. You're a Rhode Island nonprofit that brings you information that you or someone you need to know about every week at 9 a.m. on Friday. So I am really glad that you are here joining us today. I hope you hit the like button, the share button, the bells, the whistles, all those social media cues that tell people to check it out. Because today I am having a fabulous conversation about an event that is coming up that really touches the lives, I guarantee, of someone you know. So make sure you hit the like, the share, all those social media cues to let people know that they really need to check out this Friday Friends. Super, super important. Now, you know, as a nonprofit, we could not come out here every week to you guys without the support of our sponsors. So a huge thank you to Point 32 Health and United Healthcare, Neighborhood Healthcare, England Studio, 321 Media, and all of our individual sponsors and donors. It really would not be possible without their support. So I do want to get going because we've got some amazing stuff to talk about this week, and I don't want to waste another second. So please welcome Annie Murphy from the Rhode Island Alzheimer's Association.
Good morning, Deb. Thank you so much for having me on Friday Friends again. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure to be with you.
I love having you on because Alzheimer's and other related dementias are something that really touches so many lives. I don't think that people realize how many people have dementia or are caregivers for people with dementia. Do you know how many there are roughly in Rhode Island that are
You know,
touched by Alzheimer's?
Yeah, Deb, unfortunately that number is rising. Approximately about 24,000 people living in Rhode Island that we know of. But we know that number is higher. There are people who, again, have not been diagnosed yet. May are really wanting to keep it still very, under the hat that they're supporting someone in their family living with the diagnosis. And then, of course, there are those individuals who are just so afraid to talk to their primary care practice, their physician about their cognitive changes because they're so afraid that, this could be me. And at the Alzheimer's Association, we just encourage people to continue to monitor their cognitive symptoms, if they're having, issues with, short-term memory, and to learn about what are the warning signs for, developing maybe some kind of concerning dementia, and, talk to their physician about it.
And I think you're right. I think a lot of times people are really afraid to ask the question that they don't want the answer to. So when people do have those questions or concerns, or if they've been given the diagnosis of Alzheimer's or another related dementia, what resources are available out there and what events are coming up for folks to really get connected and learn more?
It's one thing, the Alzheimer's Association being a nationwide nonprofit organization. I'm very fortunate to live in, work in the New England region in which, all of our New England chapters work very collaboratively together. And one of those resources, Deb, that you're talking about is actually an upcoming New England Family Virtual Conference that we have planned. And this is that resource that I think anybody who has concerns about their own family member, if you are living with a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment, or you're living in the early stages of the disease, this conference is for you. This is a 2-day conference. It's taking place Friday, March 1st and Saturday, March 2nd. And as I said, virtual. Both days occur from 9 to 2. And we're so excited this year because this year our conference will be with live Spanish translation.
That is awesome.
So, this conference, our first day of this conference is specifically for the person living with the diagnosis. You are going to have the opportunity to hear from people who are living with, a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease or another related dementia, and they're going to be talking about their experience of, what it's like living with the diagnosis, what they're doing to live well with the diagnosis, and, really how to advocate for themselves and to decrease the stigma in Alzheimer's disease. And also on that first day, we're going to be hearing from some very well-known presenters who will be talking to those living with the diagnosis of how to live well. So, tips and strategies. We'll also be talking about how to improve the safety in your home so that you can live well and, independently in your home as long as possible.
I think it's one of those things that people get afraid to ask the question or to talk to their doctor about the cognitive changes. So when we say cognitive changes, like any hiccups in our thought processes or things that are troubling us when we maybe are not remembering things as fluidly as we would like, we get nervous about talking to our doctors about that. And so it's good to hear from people who have received the diagnosis and to see what it's like and what resources are available on the other side of that diagnosis. Now, you mentioned that this year's conference is also being offered in Spanish. I love anything that helps reach more people with information that they can trust. But why is it important to try to encourage outreach and connection in the Latinx community?
Deb, what we know is that unfortunately people who are Hispanic or from some of the other have a higher likelihood of living with the diagnosis. And, and so we are really encouraging that, people who are, speaking Spanish, that they, learn as much as anybody else, because they're just as likely to develop the diagnosis as anybody else. So.
Wow. So that's really important. Now, it's running from 9 to 2 on the Friday and Saturday. If people are not able, maybe they're working on Friday and, trying to do all those errands that, we all do on Saturdays. If they can't stay in front of the computer from 9 to 2 on both days, is it being recorded?
Deb, I don't know yet, to be honest.
Okay.
So I will get back to you once I do hear a yes or no on that. But I don't know. But
Okay.
what I do want to tell you is a little bit about our second day on the conference as well. So on Saturday, March 2nd, that part of the conference is, really for the family caregivers. So those who are supporting someone with the diagnosis. And again, we'll have an opportunity to hear from caregivers and to learn about their experience and what they're doing to live well as a caregiver, to talk about the supports that they're receiving, what's working well, and what are they doing to be healthy caregivers.
That's so important to really hear what is working well. I think sometimes there are a lot of tools offered, but not every tool is for every person. So to hear the differences in how people have utilized the resources that are available through the Alzheimer's Association, I think that's really a critical piece. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so when is that conference coming up again?
Again, Deb, it will be Friday and Saturday, March 1st and 2nd in 2024. Again, this is a virtual conference, and the times are from 9 to 2 both days.
And do people have to register for that?
Yes, they do. Deb, it would be important if we could actually share the website where people can register. If you're having difficulty registering, or if that's just, not in your wheelhouse, that you can call the Alzheimer's Association's 24/7 helpline at 1-800-272-3900 to get help with the registration. And again, that's for the New England Family Virtual Conference on March 1st and 2nd.
And that's 1-800-272-3900.
That is correct.
Okay, because not everybody is necessarily tech savvy as far as, doing the registration. And then once they're registered, they'll get a link, I'm sure, to be able to get into the conference. And if they need to hear in another language, that's another option as well. That I'm 100% sure that there will be somebody there who can help people navigate to be able to get into the Spanish translation. So that is wonderful. Now, coming up in the spring, is there going to be an opportunity here in Rhode Island to have the Caregiver Journey Conference? Is that going to come up this year too?
That is happening as well. So Deb, this is my labor of love. We are in the planning stages right now of the 13th annual Caregivers Journey Conference, which will take place in person at the Crowne Plaza in Warwick, Rhode Island. And that is a full day conference for our Rhode Island family caregivers and people living in the early stages of the disease of Alzheimer's disease or another dementia. At our conference, we're very fortunate to bring back respite care for our caregivers, so that they, if they don't have someone who can, support their loved ones while they're going to the conference, we'll have space for those. And we're also doing a dementia tour as well this year. So, if someone wants to really feel and see what it might be like living with the diagnosis, you can sign up for that workshop as well.
Oh, that's going to be absolutely amazing. So the New England Family Virtual Conference is coming up really kind of right around the corner, March 1st and 2nd. And you said that's 9 to 2 on Friday and 9 to 2 on Saturday, available in English and Spanish. And once folks register, they can get the links to watch that. And we'll find out if it's going to be recorded, so people will be able to watch it at a later date in case they get, deterred by caregiving. And then we have our own regular annual Caregiver Journey Conference, which is always amazing. Would you be available to come back on Friday, friends, as the Caregiver Journey comes up closer so we can talk more about that?
I'd be happy to, and we have it right now that the registration for the Caregivers Journey Conference will open on March 1st, 2024. You'll have opportunities to register by over the phone as well, and also through our conference website when it opens on March 1st.
So much going on, my goodness, with the Alzheimer's and other related dementias increasing in prevalence. We're lucky to be in Rhode Island, to be in New England, where some of the top researchers in the world on this disease exist. So in that way, we're lucky, but it also means that there's a lot of work that we are all working hard to accomplish, to help people, to get them connected. And I know the Alzheimer's Association of Rhode Island is always on the move to help people. So I'm really grateful that you were able to even just take a few minutes out to talk about these great events coming up, because we got to help people. They're in need out there, and there is life on the other side of a diagnosis. And I think sharing that message of hope is so important. So thank you for coming on today.
Thanks, Deb. And, it's always an honor. And again, we appreciate everything that you do with the Rhode Island Elder Info. And, your Friday Friends weekly show is just so important to our community here in Rhode Island, because you just, you're opening everybody's eyes to all the, important resources and businesses that help us here in Rhode Island. So thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Everybody, there are a lot of individuals here in Rhode Island that have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease or another related type of dementia. because there are many different types of dementia. And these conferences are wonderful ways to get educated about Alzheimer's and the other related dementias, and to learn about resources available for caregivers, as well as for the individuals who have received their diagnosis themselves, that there is hope on the other side. And don't be afraid to talk to your doctor when you're seeing, kind of changes that have you concerned. So I look forward to having you all come to these conferences. Absolutely going to be amazing information and resources shared. So again, March 1st and 2nd from 9 to 2. They're going to stream online. So if you're watching me, if you're hearing me, you can participate in the New England Family Virtual Conference. Habla Español. It's going to be available in Spanish as well. Please make sure you register. And we're going to have Annie back on to talk about the upcoming event in April for our annual Caregiver Journey Conference here in Rhode Island. So a lot happening. Stay tuned. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.